Welcome to Worlds Collide, the wrestling card podcast for wrestling fans by wrestling fans, featuring Tony Vella from WrestlingTradingCards.com.
This is like a stock market.
And Zhan Morning from Wrestling with Cards on YouTube. And I'm not saying there's a right or wrong answer, I'm just posing the question. Join them as they navigate the world of wrestling cards, helping you build a bigger and better collection and making some money along the way.
Wow, that's 3 weeks in a row. I think you've gotten it.
Time to buy some lottery tickets. Oh, maybe we kind of did. We're going to talk about that this week.
I think we are, yes. And I'm Tony with WrestlingTradingCards.com.
Man, you got yours right too. We're on a roll.
I've been saying it for almost 20 years, so I think I'm good by now.
Well, we got a lot to talk about. We had a crazy WrestleMania weekend. Did you watch Mania?
I didn't watch it. I just kind of checked all the social media stuff that was going on and kind of kept going on, kept up with it that way.
It was all right. It was good to see fans back. That was the biggest thing.
That's what I hear. A lot of guys are talking about like how cool it was to hear actual fans. So that's always fun.
So since we're talking about WrestleMania, we're talking about Undertaker NFTs. We're going to talk about Tony goes to a card show because that's going to be something. And then we're going to talk about some kind of odds and ends about wrestling card content creators. Because I have a feeling, and maybe it could just be me or Tony talking back and forth in our own little bubble, but a little bit of I'm going to say underlying politics potentially in that. So we'll get into that in a minute. But Tony, let's start with Undertaker NFTs. What'd you think?
And I'm so excited about these things. I knew nothing about NFTs until, I knew only what someone like Gary Vee would, because I follow him and talk about. And even still, what is that? I couldn't wrap my head around it. And then I kind of just did a little bit of homework. And when that Undertaker one hit, I'm like, I got to be in on this. I just got to be in on it. I don't know what it is, but I got to be in on it. And since then, I've been just immersing myself into everything about NFTs and what it can be, about the hobby. I'm excited about it.
And I believe really, for me, visualizing you understanding it, did that really start on your WTC episode about the Topps Digital with Adam?
It kind of did, and it was a really informative conversation with him. And even at the end of it, even though I understood more, I still said, nah, I still have a physical, tangible thing in my hand. I'd rather have that. And I kind of equate it to the music business. I still want to own my CDs. I still want to own, I still went out and bought the new Cheap Trick, not once, but twice. So, I still got to own it. But I also still have it on Spotify too. I've purchased and own it on Spotify. So to me, it's like the same thing. I'm just streaming. It's the same thing to me.
So the NFT and digital collectibles in general have been a really huge, it's been a big hurdle, I'll just say, for a lot of people. They don't understand it. They don't get it. And I'm not saying they have to. I've just been kind of on the side of I'm trying to help people understand it. And if you get it, cool. If you don't, that's fine too. I'm a big fan of the saying, people make fun of what they don't understand. And instead of trying to get educated about something, they'd rather just sit and complain and spew negativity.
And I think most people are like that. I think you're right.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. But what I want to know is what got you from, talking on your show about the Topps Digital to now you're buying Undertaker NFTs.
At the end of that show, I was still kind of like, all right, I understand more. I still don't really get why you'd want to do that. But then, I sat on it and then having conversation. That was months ago. We had that conversation too, by the way. And so I sat on it for a while, and then you start reading more about it. It starts making more headway in the news. When you start following some social media accounts like a Gary Vee and talking about it. And I talk with you and learning more about it, just kind of doing homework. Like everything else you do in this hobby, doing your homework.
Got to put in the hours.
Got to put in the hours, man. Just doing your homework will get you at least the information you want. Doesn't mean you're going to lose money. But just at least get the information. And then I saw my opportunity with the Undertaker NFT. I said, if I'm going to get involved in this at any point in time, this is going to get me. And I thought it was a low buy-in.
Yeah.
And I figured you can't lose. At that worst, I still get my $100 back.
So for those of you who were living under a rock and missed WrestleMania, I thought it was interesting too. They were advertising like crazy by the first WWE NFTs featuring the Undertaker.
Was that
They
for
had
both nights or just on night 2?
It was for both nights. They just kept
Okay.
running commercials nonstop, what it seemed like. And, you know, we'll get to this in a minute. I'm going to preface by saying I think it was funny. I saw a lot of wrestling fans who don't even know what NFTs are on social media saying, what is this? And then I saw a lot of people that do get collectibles saying, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. So we're going to table those statements for just a moment until the end. And so let's get into the NFTs. We had, you know, this major one, a 1 of 1 that had like, you know, you can go back and find the information if you need to, but there's like tickets to WrestleMania in like 2022 or something like that.
Yeah, you could pick between 2022 and 2023. They were front row WrestleMania, unprecedented, all access. You got the
was a video call with the Undertaker, right?
You got a video call with the Undertaker. You got an actual event use earned from Paul Bearer, signed by Undertaker. And I can't remember what other perks you got with it too, but those were the big things.
Yeah, and then there was two. There was 2 different 1 of 1s, I believe.
Yes, yeah, there's the gold one as well.
Gold, and then they had the silver, which was $1,000. And and let's go back and talk about the 1 of 1s. Like that first one jumped from initial bid of 10,
those were actual bids, auctions.
Right. And the first one, I don't even know what it's finished at, but I know the initial number 1 bid went from 10 to $100,000.
And that's where I think it closed out at 100 grand.
Okay. And then the other one went from like, I want to say like,
it was a $5,000 opening bid, I think.
Yeah, I want to say it jumped from 5 to 10 on the initial and then finished a little bit higher than that.
I think didn't it finish around 30?
Oh, I'm not sure. I didn't look at the final. I was too busy looking at the ones we bought. So
because that's all we could actually see.
Yeah, so let's step down. Then they had silver, which I actually tried to buy into, and this was the coolest one of all of them. It was literally a digital animated trading card of the Undertaker.
Beautiful looking card.
It's the coolest thing I've ever seen as far as like a digital card goes. And then it also included side plates for a belt, and the box was actually signed by the Undertaker. So not only is that you're backing up your NFT was a tangible item. So you're getting both, and then you can either keep them both, sell one, flip them, whatever you want to do.
Sure.
My experience, I was ready to do it. I had it in my cart. I hit buy now, sold out in under 20 seconds. So once again, you're telling me that these NFT things, even though they have tangible goods attached to them, you're telling me people don't care? 20 seconds?
Nah. I mean, I don't know if that's like somebody was complaining about bots or bots being
doing possibility. Yeah.
Yeah. But I tried on night 2. I didn't try night 1. I tried night 2. Because they broke up. There was only 37 of those silver ones done. They broke up the first night, 1 through 18, and then 19 through 37 on second night. So I did try the second night.
Something else that was cool is making only 37, WrestleMania 37, and then attaching Undertaker, who is Mr. WrestleMania, to those. So it's like fantastic marketing.
It was. I mean, you can't do anything better than that, really, to start to kick off. For WWE to kick off in the NFT market. It's just. And that's all what appealed to me. All of that appealed to me. Even I figured, even at the bronze level, which I ended up getting both nights, for the bronze, was it A and B, whatever you want to call it. I thought they were still cool. They're just cool. I had to get in on that from the very beginning.
So let's jump into the bronze real quick. It was a cool animated image. Night 1, they had kind of the more new school Undertaker. Night 2, they had old school Undertaker. Basically, these were available for 15 minutes, $100 a piece. And once that 15 minutes ran out, they quit minting them. Night 1 finished with, I believe, 661.
Yep.
And night 2 finished with a little over 900. For those of you who don't know, like for an NFT, that's extremely low. I mean, even for a trading card, that's not that high. And we've already started looking at these on the secondary markets, and the base level that you're seeing these sold at is double what we paid. So what's your kind of feedback after all of this is unfolded?
I think it was a wise investment, first off.
Yeah.
I think it's fun. It's in a genre that I like. So I'm so happy to see that WWE is involved in it. Obviously making the money on that would be great too. So but sure. I'm definitely holding on to these. So yeah, it's just a sound investment as far as I'm concerned. I really wish I got on that silver one too. I tried on night 2. That's just such a badass looking card. And just having, I mean, I see it online. You can see it anywhere online. I go to OpenSea, which, to track all the NFT works like that. I just like looking at it. It's just, they're not mine. I can never own one now, but it's beautiful looking.
Well, the fact that you said you're going back and looking at these constantly, how is that any different than a trading card?
Exactly. And that's what Scott, and that's exactly the point. Great. It's the same thing. It's like when I stopped collecting because WTC became my collection. I was like, I can go online and look at it anytime I want now,
right?
From anywhere. And that's kind of how I look at these NFTs. And again, you know, to be full transparent here now, as I talked to you before today, yes, I finally joined up and signed up for that WWE Slam, you know, just because it's like, okay, these are cool looking cards and I can look at them anytime I want on my phone, anywhere I want.
You know, something else, actually, you had Wes Moore on not too long ago on WTC, and you were giving him a hard time about taking stuff and putting it in his bank vault. And he's like, hey, I've got social media to look at it. That's no different.
No different.
Same thing.
100%. And it's just, you know, beautiful. I don't have to worry about it being damaged.
Right.
I don't have to worry about anything at all.
No,
I mean,
sending to grading companies.
No sending to grading. I know it's a mint.
A 10. Yeah.
It's just awesome. And from an investment standpoint, from a collector standpoint, if you were into it just to collect, it's beautiful looking pieces first off. So there's that. But then from an investment standpoint, it's just a winning thing. I think it really is
very low risk.
Like I'm still trying to wrap my head around the whole cryptocurrency crap and, you know, using, was it Ethereum, like that?
Yeah. Ethereum.
Ethereum. Yeah. So that's, which is what is backed on the WWE one anyways. So I'm still trying to learn all the mathematical equations on what a dollar equals and that kind of things like that. But I know that I'm into it for $100. I know I can get out of it for way more than $100.
Right.
But it's just, I think it's both fun and money making for me, I think, if I wanted to. So I feel like I'm winning on both sides.
I ultimately feel the same way. And, you know, I told you to table those comments I made. Now look. I mean, you know, I'll let these people make fun of me. They can bash me for, you know, buying something that's a JPEG or something that I can look on YouTube. That's fine. You know, you cardboard curmudgeons can go do what you want to do. That's, you know, live in your own world. I'm going to keep doing what I want to do that makes me happy.
Everybody collects whatever they want to collect. I get it. Exactly. Yeah, I totally understand. But
it's not like I've been preaching this whole time. It's not an either or. I'm not saying NFTs take over trading cards. I don't want that to happen. No, I don't want it to happen.
It's just like people thought, again, I have to go back to the music business. People thought that, oh, the streaming stuff's going to get rid of, you know, CDs and vinyl.
Yeah.
It hasn't.
No.
It really hasn't. As a matter of fact, I think the streaming service has made my vinyls, my CDs more valuable now if I wanted to sell them because they really don't make them anymore.
Right.
So same thing with the cards now. Like I think there will always be physical cardboard stock. It might be less, who knows? But digital media is just, it's something that I couldn't get my head around. And when I started thinking it from the music standpoint, which I totally have my head wrapped around on that, it just it makes sense to me then. So like I'm all in it going forward. I really am. I'm not going to get away from collecting my old school stuff. You're still not going to get me from like, hey, someone wants to offer me you know, an 82 Hogan. I'll be on it. I'll take it.
Yeah. But you know what? Now that I think about it, hypothetically, what happens if your Undertaker NFT gets to the point where you could help fund that 82 Hogan? You know, that's just
exactly
possibility.
Like, you know what? I like that old 82 better than I like my Undertaker. So I'm going to sell my Undertaker to go buy that.
Yep.
Absolutely. It's just another way for me to collect and invest into building in something that I want to really actually collect for my PC.
100% agree. That's exactly what I'm doing. And I'm doing like what you said with my bronze ones I have. I go back and I look at them like once a day. I'm like, man, these are just cool. And I put
every day since I bought, and I've looked at them. And I will tell you, I even go look at all those lucky silver ones too. So
yeah, they're just perfect. And kind of wrapping up our little NFT segment, and we'll move on. We're seeing UFC is now got the company who makes Top Shot, Dapper Labs. They're getting into UFC. Topps is officially putting out the MLB product now, and we're just moving further and further. You know, Topps already has Godzilla and Garbage Pail Kids. They have William Shatner collectibles. All of this on their wax. Like, it's getting crazy. Where do you think this is going to go? Just quick take.
I think it's going to continue to keep going. As long as people have any interest and want to collect in some form or another, it's just going to keep going. I can't wait. I mean, it's almost like, it feels almost like getting on the ground floor of the very first trading cards ever made.
Yeah, it does. And very low risk, I think.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to learn. You can't, I mean, it's hard to just jump. Wouldn't advise anybody to just jump in because someone else is telling you like,
no. I mean, obviously you always do your homework and you want to invest in what you're passionate about and you love anyways.
Right.
Don't get into something because, oh, I got to get it because people are going to make money off that. get into it because you like to and you want to, and you've actually done your homework and you're like, you know what? Even on the losing ends like that, I still win because it's something I enjoy.
And I really just like, I don't know, like I talk about it a lot. You talk about it. We all talk about it. Like I'm no expert. I'm just like, I'm so passionate about it that I just keep wanting to learn.
Yeah.
And one thing, a big hurdle we're going to have to get over is like there's a million different wallets and getting over conversion rates and all that stuff. But I think if this continues, we're just going to see kind of some people start streamlining those processes.
I think you're right. Someone's going to consolidate that.
Yeah.
Eventually, there's going to be an app. What I don't like about this going right now is I don't like it's not app based. It's strictly web based, browser based right now. I'm sure somebody out there or peoples out there are probably working on some way to make an app that I can kind of manage all of my investments when it comes to my NFTs like that, which is it's going to come. It's just going to come. So right now, is it crazy all over the place? Yeah, I'm having to learn about what OpenSea is versus what Wax is, what's all these different types of cryptocurrency things.
Yeah,
it's just a lot to learn and ingest. I get it. But if I focus and do my homework and focus on the things that interest me, okay, so Undertaker can only be done through, what do you call it?
Bitski, I think.
Bitski, yeah, through Bitski. So be it. I'll go through Bitski. I got something. I own it. It's great. It's cool. It's just, I was overwhelmed like anything else. Getting into something new, you get a little overwhelmed. And now I'm feeling more comfortable about it. I feel like I can have a conversation about it with people. I can better explain it. My wife still doesn't get it. She doesn't understand it. It's like, why would I want to go and pay $100,000 to watch some guy get thrown off a cage? I can watch it on YouTube for free. And I go, it's
about ownership.
It's about ownership. Okay. And I, funny enough, I'd always make the example to her about like, well, let's say if I wanted to owe the Mona Lisa. And then I read that Gary Vee article about introducing you into and he mentions the Mona Lisa.
Yep.
And so it's just kind of how it is. I mean, I have ideas and things like other artists do, I think. Or artists, I'm not an artist, but artists out there who are, monetizing their artwork. It's a new medium for them to go ahead and monetize their artwork through NFTs.
Right.
So now it's like, I got things bubbling in my head that I want to talk to you about off air, about things. And there's just so much potential out there and it's exciting.
Speaking of exciting, everybody's getting vaccinated. Maybe we're kind of taking, round and third base heading home on this pandemic. Tony goes to card shows. So let's hear your report about getting back into the wild and looking for cards.
Well, I only went to one card show. And that was a couple weeks ago. I went one here in Arizona and I'm shot one down. I got shot number 2 coming tomorrow. I went and it was crowded. It was busy. I intended doing an episode. I wanted to do an episode for my channel, but it was just how it was all set up and how loud it was. It just, nothing would have came out good. So it was at a hotel. I got to meet 75 Kings, saw him there. It was nice to meet him. And super nice guy, incredible work. What a great collection of stuff he had. He had 4 or 5 display cases filled with just some really cool stuff. And, but they had a freaking DJ there. They had a DJ there, literally. And he had the worst spot of anybody. He was literally the table in front of the DJ booth. So all it was just like, right. I mean,
how are you guys supposed to make deals and do business with that?
Exactly. And even going to the other side of the room, because it was like one whole giant ballroom and, narrow rows. They had like a whole bunch of dead space inside, where all the dealers were at. They weren't even occupying. They could have moved everything wide in the air. I don't know. It was just, and it was very cookie cutter. So I was reminded of card shows being very cookie cutter of everybody sold the same thing, which always cracks me up when I go to someone's table going, oh, this is, it's a short print and rare. Like every booth in this place has the same exact card, buddy. How's it short print if you all have it?
Yeah.
And I only saw, outside of 75 Kings, there was one guy who had any wrestling, and he had one wrestling card, and all he had was 98 Comic Images Rock card. And
that's sad. It really is. It hurts.
I mean, he had plenty of golf, and he had plenty of soccer, which was more than anybody else had, but everybody else was all football, baseball, basketball, and then sprinkled in a little bit of Pokemon here and there.
That actually leads me perfectly into something else I was going to talk about. You just now proved, we talked about it last week about, Gary Vee talking about eBay and kind of all these little ancillary things, and then nobody saying anything about wrestling.
Correct.
You just proved it again at a card show. I want to talk also about Rob's Golden Auction,
Hmm.
and that record-setting Panini PSA 10 rock sticker. And
Yeah, it's so
I
weird.
I listen to a lot of mainstream sports card podcasts. Most of you guys know all the best, the big names out there. I listen to most of those, and a lot of them would they mentioned it. They mentioned the sale, like, "Hey, did you hear about that rock sale in Golden? Yeah, that's crazy." And then they moved on. So, like,
Incredible.
wrestling is still not getting the love out there, even though Rob shout out for, like, putting yourself out there and trying to get the wrestling card market on the map. I think it did help. I mean, clearly they spoke about it, but I just don't understand how people can still gravitate to swimming, golf, soccer, stuff like this, but yet they don't want to buy a rock card. They don't want to start. I don't get it.
It's funny too. I think it's a stigma on the industry itself, because I thought about this when we talked about having this episode here, and working with talent that I work with, I hear that often. Not about. I mean, trying to figure out how to best describe this, I guess. It's hard to get some of my talent. Some of my talent wants to try to get into TV shows or movies or this or that outside of wrestling. And it seems because they're associated with wrestling, there's a stigma attached to the industry as a whole, where they go, well, I don't know if I want to hire a wrestler to be in my parts, like that thing. I think it kind of carries into collectibles too. I think there's a stigma attached to wrestling where people just like, it's wrestling. Who wants wrestling? Nobody cares about that. It's like, really? I got cards selling for $30,000 over here and $40,000 over there. You're
Yeah.
telling me, well, it ain't no LeBron card. We're selling for a couple $100,000. I guess we're only making tens of thousands, not hundreds of thousands. So we're not that appealing, I guess, for our
Yeah, we're
market.
not
I
good
don't know.
enough for them.
When we start hitting, six figures, then I might have some interest.
And they say that, and yet just this past week I saw a tweet from The Rock saying he'd be honored to be the president because people are kind of pushing him to go that route.
Yeah, which is funny. I posted that going, hey, would this hurt, help the market? And of course, all I did was post that on Facebook and I think on Twitter too, I think. I posted that, and someone on Facebook, on the WTC Facebook page, took it as a political thing. Couldn't leave it as a collectible thing, and just said, nah, I'm out.
Cool story, bro.
I go, no, I disagree. I think it's going to help. It's going to help my trading cards. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So moving on, and we'll speak, talking about social media. We'll close it out with this last thing. We're starting to see a lot more wrestling card content creators. We're, different avenues, whether it's podcasts or just social media or YouTube or all of that. Tony, is this good or bad? What do you think?
I think it only helps the industry. I think it's great. I think it's awesome. Part of it could be like, do I feel a little bit like, hey, outside of Zhan, I didn't know anybody else doing one when I was doing one. But it's just a testament to how the industry is growing. And I think people are excited about it. And I think that the more eyes and ears are on the hobby, the better. So right. I just started listening to, was it Card Foundation?
Yeah, those guys are great.
I think they're great. I love it. I think it's good stuff. I subscribe to their channel. I listen to them. I think it's informative, and I think it's good quality stuff there. I enjoy it. So there's just more eyes and ears on the product, on the hobby as a whole. It only helps.
Yeah, and one I want to say is this is not maybe I'm speaking for myself. Maybe I'm speaking for both of us. It's not a political thing with us. Like, if you guys want us to come on your show, we're more than happy to do it. If you want to come on to this show, we'll figure out a way. Like,
absolutely.
The whole purpose of this is to put out information, good or bad, to get it right.
To educate, to properly educate people. Over the years, I've had a lot of things when I'm trying to verify checklists and verify information for these card sets over the years. And most of what gets submitted to me, to us, I should say, is fairly accurate. But then you always get somebody who wants to try to push something. It's like, well, I pulled it. Can you verify that for me? I just can't. Case in point, 95 WCW main event. Rappers tell you that you can pull autographs.
Oh, those stupid autographs.
Okay. but no one to this day, no one can really verify that they pulled an actual autograph out of a pack. Yeah. I've had some say, well, I did. Well, can you prove it? I mean, because they're not stamped in any way they're not shown. There's no authentication of the card. I mean, what's to stop me from going out and taking my Marcus Bagwell card and getting Marcus Bagwell to sign it?
Sign it a show. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, nothing. So it's going to be probably something that's going to be very, very difficult to confirm. So we've done a lot to try to verify things. So, having that being said, listen to certain people's podcasts or listen to people on social media talk about things. It's just important to make sure that the information is correct. That's really what it is. So, but I enjoy the content. I enjoy that there's more out there. And I welcome even more.
Yeah. I want to see more pop up. Hopefully, I don't care if they're better or worse than ours, if they're just getting started, or if they've been secretly into wrestling cards longer than me and you have, and they're just going to take off. Like, let's just keep building. The more information we can get out there, the better. No politics.
Yeah, not also like that. I mean, I enjoy listening to it. I'm not. You're way more into the podcast than I am, so I rarely listen to any podcast. The only thing I watch pretty much religiously, if anything, is I watch all of your YouTube stuff.
Thank you.
But I just started listening to the Card Foundation, and that's pretty much all I really listen to. I don't listen to anything else. And I know I need to do better at that because I work at my desk all the time until 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, work on the website stuff. I might as well go ahead and listen to something in the background. I probably should get more into that, I guess.
Speaking of which, before we get out of here, do you have any website information updates for people?
A lot of work, man. Just a lot of work. One guy. I thought I was going to have like some help, and I don't have any help, so I'm doing it all myself. And I paid someone to kind of start building for me, and it wasn't what I wanted. And turned out I was like, God, I could have done that. And it's kind of what I'm doing now. So I can tell you that I guess I haven't told anybody really yet. The site will be very similar to what it was before, I think, a little bit different in the layout, because if it ain't broke, why fix it kind of thing.
Sure.
There's no more categories, so everything's done by years. So I went and did some homework about everybody else. I saw Beckett. I went to Paul's Price Guide. I went to other places, and nobody really breaks anything down into like Japanese and action figures and stickers and this. So it's all merged under one, and whatever year it falls under. So that's one thing. Another thing is it's all done in what's a blog format. So the blog formatting, what it allows me to do is, one, it's a lot of work because every individual thing has to be entered as a blog. So
interesting.
You go in from the years are there. Every year is a blog with a list of everything that's in that year. Okay. So then I have to go in and say, okay, here's 1990. And there are, say, 5 sets. I'm just gonna make it up. 5 sets in that year. So that's a blog. Those listing of those 5 releases. In those 5 releases, each one of those releases is its own blog. Then you go into that blog for that checklist. Every card entry, if I want to attach an image to it, is its own blog.
Oh, okay.
So if it's a 150 card set, that's 150 blogs just in that set.
Wow.
But it's a lot of work. I understand that. And I'm willing to put that work into it. What it benefits is that now what it does is it creates a way for, hey, I only want to talk about card 147. I love that card. That card's awesome. You can have a full conversation just about that card.
That's cool.
Everybody can go in there and just talk about that card. You can talk about that release, just about that release. You can talk about that year if you want to talk about that year.
That's awesome.
So it opens up a lot of avenues. It offers a lot of avenues for potential, like, hey, WTC, talk about your analytics on your site. What's drawing the most. I'm interested in advertising now because, hey, put me over here because that 82 All-Stars seems to get a lot of traffic about that, stuff like that. I want my advertisements to be focused over here. Great. I'll put you on that page, on that blog.
Hey, so and if you guys want to sponsor the website or sponsor us, hit us up.
Hit us up, man. Absolutely.
We're open for business.
Shameless plug. It's just, so it's a lot of work to do it. I'm doing it on my own. Like when we're done right now, I'll be working tonight, probably on it. I'm only at the adding checklist page now. So actually I'm not even at that page. I'm working with Chuckster right now to fill in all the holes from the last 5 years that I haven't gotten anything done. He's going to help me just lay it all out, and then I can create checklists for each one of those.
Oh, quick note too, because I just used it this week for some notes on one of my podcasts. If you guys still need to access the checklists, they're still there. You just have to kind of use a Google search and kind of get around the actual WTC website. It's still
Yeah,
there.
because I mistakenly removed or overwritten the main page, which was wrestlingtradingcards.com/index.html.
Right.
And I mistakenly thought I can convert everything over to a template thing like that. And it was like, no, it wipes it out. You got to start from scratch. You go, holy shit, I only got rid of the first page. And, but if you go to like wrestlingtradingcards.com/checklist.html, it's all there.
Yep.
Or if you've already bookmarked the forums page, all the links are right there.
Yeah, that's actually a good, I don't know why. I guess I'm just so used to using phones for everything and using social media links directly or whatever.
Sure.
I don't use the bookmark feature as much as I used to like 10 years ago, you know?
Yeah, well, I have to now with all this NFT stuff. I have to start bookmarking all my different accounts and stuff. So I gotta. That's what's annoying to me about it. So I wish I could just centralize everything into one thing. Be great, but not like I have a whole giant portfolio. I mean, I own one damn thing.
Give it time.
I probably will. I mean, I'm so into it, but I'm so glad we got to talk about this. This is something I'm really excited about. I haven't been this excited about anything in the hobby in a long time.
That's awesome.
It's fun. It's really fun. Yeah, it's fun.
Any other hot button topics you want to touch on before we get out of here?
For those who are asking about the Kevin Nash card, it should be happening sometime in the next week.
Oh, cool.
So when I actually, I was texting back and forth with him about the card, he mentioned it to me, and that was right at the beginning of WrestleMania week. And he said he had to go into work mode. And I said, hey, how about we just get these signed after WrestleMania? He said, yes. I said, okay. So that's where we're at. I'm actually going to reach out to him tomorrow and try and schedule a date and time. I don't know if we're going to do the video I wanted to do. I'll see. Depends on how he feels. But the cards are getting signed in the next week or so.
Cool. Well, that's good to know. Can't wait to get mine.
Yeah, Mr. One of One.
I was waiting, just like I was waiting on that silver NFT. I'm glad you didn't have any bots taking out your.
Yeah. I would have been so, you know what? I would have been bummed and excited had I gotten a silver one. You didn't.
I would have been happy for you. I wouldn't have been mad at all.
Because I didn't think about it on you tried on Saturday, and I'm assuming you tried on Sunday too.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't try on Saturday because I wasn't thinking about it. But then I was so stoked about getting my one on Saturday. I go, I gotta try for the one on Sunday. Yeah. I just gotta try.
Yeah, it's awesome times. I feel like we've kind of had this resurgence in wrestling collectibles kind of coming up. So
now I just wish it would go mainstream. I wish there were more people giving it the recognition that it deserves, really. People need to understand wrestling cards predate any sport.
Yeah.
And not that, because it's been around longer, it deserves to be better. If that was the case, and I'd be making complaints about WTC, but that's besides the point. It's just that, it's always been a part of so many people's lives for so many decades. I don't understand how it doesn't get, why? Because you don't look at him as an athlete. You're not Serena Williams, so I don't care unless you're tennis. I don't care. You're not Tiger Woods. So I don't care if you're golf. I don't get it.
Yeah, me neither.
There's just something about a stigma about wrestling, and I just think that it kind of needs to be gone away. Especially we know there's a lot of people out there collecting these cards.
Mm-hmm.
We do, it's why I'm also a little disappointed the Discord channel is not as popular as I thought it would be.
Mm-hmm.
I thought there'd be more people in the Discord channel because, hey, it's the only place that's exclusively about wrestling cards, and you can search easy now for it. It's just called Wrestling Trading Cards. I'm going to actually open the feature up to be a public server so that anybody could just stumble across it.
Awesome.
Because right now I think it's done by invite.
Yeah, you have to share
the link. Yeah, so I'm just gonna open up so it's across all of the Discord channels. You can actually go on there and find it. So I think it should be bigger than it is. I don't know why in 2021 we're still not at the same level as, soccer. Soccer's international.
Yeah, we both discussed this is never going to top baseball, basketball, football, but if we could be that fourth, it's possible. Maybe
we could be better. I'm a big hockey fan, but we could still be better than hockey, can't we?
I believe so. Actually, I want to say wrestling, I don't think will ever beat out Pokemon. So maybe we'd be number 5. I'd be happy with top 5.
I'd be happy with top 10.
Yeah. Yeah. Are we even in that? I think we're in the top 10 of eBay, but we're still not in the top 10 of like mainstream. So whatever.
That'd be interesting. I'd like to know what their numbers are on eBay for wrestling, the trading cards. I remember that one episode that you told me to watch where they talked about it briefly and how it was 500%. But what does that equate to as far as
Overall, yeah, I'm not
the
sure.
overall? I'd like to know.
That's okay. We're going to keep rocking and rolling and flying the freak flag, so to speak, for wrestling cards. You can check me out, Wrestling with Cards on YouTube, Wrestling with Cards podcast, and just Zhan Morning on all social platforms. Tony?
For me, you can just catch me anywhere on WrestlingTradingCards.com.
That's it for this week. Make sure to share this show, subscribe, leave us a nice review or a bad review if you think we suck. That's okay too. I'm okay with constructive criticism.
I am too.
And yeah, share it everywhere. Tag us in it. And if you got any questions you want to hear answered on the show, contact one of us on social media. Until next time, see ya.